When Roman Reigns made his triumphant return, everybody rejoiced because the big dog was back. But at Fastlane, I could tell he wasn't the same man. He was weak. He was vulnerable. He relied on his Shield brothers to do the heavy lifting. And now the Shield is no more thanks to Drew McIntyre. Now I have Seth Rollins attacking me from behind like a coward with a chair and viciously assaulting me. Why? Because he, just like all of you, are deluded. You live in a fantasy world. You play make-believe. You want to believe in heroes. And that's why last week I pulled back the curtain, revealed the truth when I dropped Roman. And this is my yard now. Now I want to take a moment to speak to Roman Reigns. Not Roman Reigns, the superstar. I want to speak to Joe, the man. That's what you told us to call you when the leukemia came back. Yeah. Joe the husband. Joe the father. Joe the man that's sitting on his couch at home, all because of me. If you want to be the hero so bad, if you want to be an inspiration to all these people, then I have a challenge for you. I challenge you. I challenge you to a fight. Not just any fight. I challenge you to a fight at WrestleMania. I know the answer already. These people know the answer already, but I want you to take a moment. Look at your wife right now. Look at your children. Look at the tears in their eyes because they know the answer too. I am asking you right now to say no. I am asking you right now to choose your family, not to choose these people because they don't care about you. They don't give a damn about you. I swear to you, if you fight me on the biggest stage of them all bets are off. What I did to you last week will be nothing. What I did to Dean last week, nothing. What I'll do to Seth tonight, nothing. I will hurt you. I will maim you. I will destroy you. You may have beaten leukemia, but on the grandest stage of them all, you will never beat me.
That right there is why I did what I did to you earlier tonight, Drew. This is for me.
The Kingslayer is all business here tonight on Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre wasted little time. Gonna meet Rollins in the aisle away, and here we go. Rollins and McIntyre, and the brawl is on.
This match hasn't even officially begun. These two trying to destroy one another in the entryway.
This isn't about a bell ring. This is just beating the hell out of each other.
Oh, Rollins out here to avenge his brothers, and McIntyre looking to end all three members of the Shield as the fight continues.
I know Seth is highly emotional, but if we learned anything last week, it's that Drew McIntyre will use your emotions against you to destroy you.
Rollins is ready to face McIntyre live.
What's that metronome I hear? Perhaps the end is drawing near. You never hear the shot that takes you down. Out of time, so say goodbye. What is yours? Now we slip and fall just like a stone, rolling ever faster to this nightmare you have sown. You had it all right in your grasp, but in a breath, the minute passed. Now at last the end has come. You are all alone, out of time. So say goodbye. What is yours now is mine, and I dream broken dreams. I make them come true. I make them for you. I make them for you. All your dreams are just illusion, based on nothing and confusion. Don't you look behind the curtain, no more turning in this I dream broken dreams, I make them come true. I make them for I dream broken dreams, I make them come true. I make them for you. I make them come true.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 147 of the Hoots podcast. It is Thursday, March 21st, 2019. We have 3 shows left of the New Japan Cup. We're heading towards the final 4. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be taking on Sonata. I want to give a shout out to Chicago's own Colt Cabana, who had a very good outing in the New Japan Cup this year. On the other side of the bracket, we got Okada versus Tomohiro Ishii. I put a clip of the match that Ishii had with Yoshihashi last night on my Instagram. You can go check that out, Instagram/the Hoots podcast. Good God, man, that match was a lot of fun. Anyways, welcome to the program, everybody. My name is Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at the Hoots podcast. I am alongside the one and only Adam Daley at AdamDaley13 on the IG. What's up, brother?
Josh, what's going on? Hello, everyone. Listen, happy birthday, Patrick Fritz. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost.
Sir.
Get that in there. Yeah, man. Thursday afternoon. Let's do it. You like that? It's such an exciting segue this week, right?
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, you don't have any ties to this because you're from Pennsylvania, but, you know, this is stemming off a conversation I heard on Busted Open Radio with Corey Graves. For you, and you understand marketing and this and that.
Sure.
So,
what do I do for a living?
David Greca's big tiff is that Michael Cole keeps saying that WrestleMania is in New York. Obviously, MetLife Stadium is in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And Dave LaGreca is going on a soliloquy about how awesome New Jersey is and what it offers. And he said that the best Outback Steakhouse is in New Jersey. And he was doing it in a laughing way. He wasn't like so serious about it. But anybody that knows LaGreca for Busted Up, he knows to go on funny rants at times. So they had Corey Graves come on the show because Graves kept saying that WrestleMania is in New York as well. And he's like, nobody wants to go to NXT TakeOver Camden. And he made the analogy last week. He was like, you know, New York is where you have all your accomplishments that you gain over the years, and you're not having enough room to fit into that particular room. So you bring the extra trophies you get and you put it in the garage. and that's what New Jersey is.
Oh, jeez.
You've been to New Jersey before, I think.
Yes. My father lived up in Newark for a while. Well, in Elizabeth for a while, which is right outside of Newark. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time up there. I mean, I've been to New York City. I've been to Newark or New Jersey, in different parts too. I actually have family in the southern part of New Jersey too. So it's definitely two different worlds. For all the states that are split, Jersey should be like North Jersey and South Jersey because it's two totally different worlds.
That's the home of Jay Lethal, right? I think Elizabeth.
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyways,
AJ Lee's from around there too.
LeGrec and Grave are going back and forth about this. Do you call it New York or you call it New Jersey? And Graves had the great line. He's like, if I'm making the track from Japan to WrestleMania, would I have any excitement if my track was to New Jersey or New York? So I'll ask you this, brother, because for me personally, for the outside speaking, I don't see a difference from New York to New Jersey. I think they're all blended in one. The fact that they have the Giants and the New York Jets play in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and not having the stadium in any New York area, this lends more credence to that. So I don't know. How you feel about this? New York or New Jersey?
Well, it's New York. Listen, the Giants and Jets are just smart because land's cheaper in Jersey. That's all. Listen, there's tax benefits. There's a lot of benefits. From a business and marketing side, it's New York. And I'm sure it was a playful banter between. Listen, and I know it was nothing serious, and I know I'm not taking it as anything serious. But seriously joking, New Jersey's really just the turd that's coming out of the rear end of New York, and I think we all know that, right? So, and it's elongated, kind of goes down, little gets skinny there in the middle, but then comes back, it gets a little fatter at the end again. So, I just think that I'm a little more familiar. I'm familiar with upstate New York as well, all over the place. But this is it's New York City, baby. This is not. Granted, yeah, you unfortunately have to go to Jersey for the day. And I'm also kidding. Everyone from New Jersey that's listening, please. There are parts of Jersey that are absolutely beautiful, but the only reason why that stadium's built there, I'm sure, is tax purposes. I'm sure there's, it was just cheaper to do it there. So Jersey, you're kind of just the side chick if you really want to think yourselves that way.
By the way, good luck for anybody that's getting Ubers and Lyfts the day of WrestleMania.
Oh God, I couldn't imagine that.
Good God Almighty, Michael. I've never been to Tampa before. I'm going to try to make sure to go to Tampa next year for WrestleMania. Part of me is bummed out to not go to New York because I wanted to see the G1 Supercard thing at Madison Square Garden. WrestleMania is always cool, and I've been having a fun time going to these WrestleMania events over the last couple of years. And I've never been to MetLife Stadium before, but one of the main reasons I wanted to go to New York is to see that Ring of Honor New Japan show. This is literally the first non-WWE pay-per-view or event inside Madison Square Garden since the 60s.
Wow.
So this is a very historic event, and I'm very excited for it. In the coming weeks, I'll talk about the match card as it happens. But just for you, your thoughts, Adam, how special is this Ring of Honor New Japan event at Madison Square Garden?
I think it is just as special as the Muse concert that's happening 2 days later, or maybe a day later. I don't know. It's the night of Monday Night Raw. So if you're in New York for WrestleMania weekend, there's a Muse show up there too. But no, listen, I think that's a huge deal. I think that was sacred ground for a while, right? I mean, the McMahons kind of owned Madison Square Garden for a very long time. I think now that they've been going over to Brooklyn, obviously it kind of, I don't know what if there was a strained relationship or whatever happened, but I don't think it's anything. It's definitely a big event, but I also think that it's smart for Madison Square Garden to branch out just past WWE because WWE is also branching out just past Madison Square Garden. When wrestling's hot, you have to strike while the iron's hot. And, what better time than now for all the people that said that the business is dying, the business is dead. This is the worst wrestling's ever been. I mean, MSG's taking I don't want to say they're taking a risk per se. It's Madison Square Garden, but this is something they haven't done in, like you said, since what, the 60s?
Yeah.
You said so. I mean, that does say something, and it says something about Ring of Honor right now and the good job that they're doing, and how I just think the overall popularity of professional wrestling right now.
Speaking of professional wrestling, it's been a big week of professional wrestling here in the city of Chicago. We're going to talk about Raw in a little bit. I got to go to the show this Monday, so I'll talk about that and some things that happened that I got to witness in person at the show that maybe you haven't seen on television. Also, this weekend is C2E2 in Chicago. I think it's at the McCormick Place.
I tried so hard to get up there.
Yes. This weekend they got all the vice presidents of All Elite Wrestling. They're going to be there. Marty Scurll and our boy CM Punk is having their own booth together at the Pro Wrestling Tees area.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty awesome. If you're a wrestling fan and you get CM Punk and Marty Scurll at the same time,
and when you're Adam Daley and you can get CM Punk and Marty Scurll at the same time, that's like a dream scenario right there. So it's believe me when I tell you, I was making the effort to make it up there. However, my daughter has to go to a field trip tomorrow, and that field trip is much, much more important and a lot closer than the 8-hour drive out. But if anybody's up there, listen, that Summer of Punk shirt and that's exclusive up there, cop one. I'll PayPal you the money. The Phoenix Rising. It looks very similar to a Phoenix I have tattooed on my arm. That's why I really dig like the style of the shirt and stuff like that. But I'll admit I don't go to a lot of the cons like and stuff like that like I should.
Yeah.
Just because it's I don't know. I know this might sound crazy, but I just don't think anybody's worth even I just don't think spending like $40 just to take a picture with somebody is worth it, you know? I'll admit though that if other, the situation was correct, me and a certain little 9-year-old would be making this trip to Chicago for this weekend and make sure she got to see her hero CM Punk and I got to see the one true villain Marty Scurll.
Well, I wish I could go too, even though I am here in the city. I have to open the tattoo shop tomorrow, so I got day shift. I got to handle some business on what do they call it?
Get that work
Friday. Are we still calling that in 2019?
I guess. I don't know. I'm so far out of the loop on what people like want things to be called. Like I don't want to be trendy anymore.
I mean, can you say anything these days about somebody being in their feelings?
No.
Who knows? Really quick, I want to thank everybody who took the time to check out last week's episode. It was kind of a sentimental one. I didn't want to make it too emotional because I wanted to admit some of the mistakes I made along this journey. But it was I guess therapeutic in a way to reflect on how fast these 6 years have gone by of broadcasting and, getting to do some right stuff along the way. But, having the ability to get your name out there for something you love to do is something that I don't take for granted each day. I'm not entitled to having gazillion listeners or gazillion people reading my articles or anything like that. I'm very grateful for the fact that I have the opportunity to do that for you guys, even recording a show like this every single week. So again, thank you for everybody for the support and those who did get to check out the show last week. I did get to see the numbers and it was pretty cool. So I appreciate you guys check out the episode. That was a lot of fun. It was a really good conversation and I'm very excited for what the next 20, 25 years has for me in this crazy field. But we're only at the beginning stage, folks, man. We're all part of this journey, and we're all family. And I just want to say thank you again for checking out last week's episode.
Well put. I don't even want to add anything on to that. Just well put.
Yes, sir. The other day at the tattoo shop, I was telling Adam about this before we came on air. Some chick the other day came up to me. She's like, "Are you Taylor Lautner?" And I wasn't like. Here's the thing for me personally. Like, I didn't take it as an offense or an insult or anything like that. I didn't know how to react. I should know if I took it as a compliment or whatever. I just thought it was interesting because I never thought that'd be a comparison I would get. You know,
I'm gonna start calling you Breaking Dawn.
I've been called worse and compared to worse in the past. So I'm curious for anybody that's out there. What's like one actor or anybody like a musician that you've been compared to, or what you look like? You know, I'm curious on that end. Let us know on like Twitter or something. Like if somebody random came up to you and asked you if you're this person or whatever. Taylor Lautner, jeez.
How many people have told me that I look like somebody? I'm like the world's doppelganger.
How many do you have, by the way?
more than I'd like to tell, share, or admit. It's bad. One day I just want to that's why sometimes I just want to like shave all my hair off, eyebrows, like go like do one of those things just like as a gag. But then I look like Zaz from Gotham, so that wouldn't be fun either. So I don't want to do that.
We were talking about this before we came on. I guess I could see it. I don't know Taylor personally. Like I maybe seen a couple interviews back then when they were like really promoting the Twilight movies on MTV and stuff. I haven't heard a bad thing about the dude, so I guess he's a cool dude. Yes, I've watched the movies and I've actually enjoyed more of their soundtrack than their movies, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But thinking about the movies and stuff, I guess I could say like I'm Jacob in a lot of ways, but Adam put it perfectly. Less douchey and less uptight. So I don't know. Maybe she has that comparison wrong, but I don't know. I just thought that was pretty funny that she would compare me to Taylor Lautner. Jesus Christ.
If I got hung up on some of the things I got compared to in my life, I've been compared. Obviously, everyone listening to this knows the CM Punk comparison was always there, but I've been told I look like Edge. I've been told I look like Dave Grohl. I've been told I look like Charles Manson. I've been told I look like, at one point, the dude from 311 when my hair was short, Eminem when our hair was short. Like it's depending on what hair color and whatever's going on. Like I get a little bit of everything. So it's You trust me, you could be worse. That's just the tip of the iceberg. David Spade, I've been called before. I've been like, dude, it's just ad nauseum somewhere. You go, oh, you look like this dude, and it's like, yeah, sure, why not? I look like him today. I'm Mr. Potato Head. Just make me whatever you want to.
I tried spiky hair one time when I was younger, and somebody compared me to Billy Joel Armstrong from Green Day. And I was like, nope. Nice try though.
Yeah, I used to get Nick Hexum from 311 Lux. I had the like real bleach blonde, like spiky hair when I was in high school.
Right.
Back in the mid '90s.
We are 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. It's literally right around the corner, and I'm excited, man. We talked about last week about our excitement for some of these matches that have already been announced. I think we're up to 10 now. Mm-hmm. So, there's been a conversation about how long the show's going to be, this and that. I put a tweet out. I posted this on Twitter the other day. It's like, honestly, for me as a wrestling fan, and you guys got to understand, for me personally, I'm not in a predicament that a lot of you guys are. I'm not tied out to a marriage. I don't have kids. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not begrudging anybody who has those situations or they have to work super early in the morning. I totally understand where everybody's coming from. But me personally, for where I am right now as a wrestling fan, and in general, like it's my favorite day of the year. I get more excitement out of WrestleMania than I do the Super Bowl. No, I'm not saying it because my team's not participating on it. It's just in general. I enjoy WrestleMania more than any major event out of the year. The Oscars, the Grammys, the World Series, anything like that. I think WrestleMania is the coolest event out of all of them. That's how big of a wrestling fan I am. So it's okay for us to watch 8-hour NFL pregame shows.
No, it isn't.
Every week.
Yes, no, it isn't at all.
No, I'm not saying for me and you, but I'm saying in general. People will spend literally 12 hours a day checking up on fantasy football and watching the Red Zone and watch all the football games throughout the week, but we can't watch a 7-hour WrestleMania. So me personally, I don't give a rat's ass about what the runtime is for WrestleMania. I don't. I really don't. I got to cover a couple at home. I got to watch them in person. I do think it's good that they're putting NXT TakeOver on a Friday as opposed to the night before WrestleMania because I think it did affect the crowd in New Orleans. for that WrestleMania. I really do. NXT TakeOver New Orleans was touted as one of the best wrestling shows of all time. I was there in person for that show, and that building was rocking, man. Like, they're really, really loud for that show. And I don't think it's good to have those big type of pay-per-view events the night before WrestleMania. So you have that day in between. And I think, we have so many wrestling shows that are going throughout the week. I mean, half of you guys are going to be drunk most of the time, so it really doesn't matter how long these shows are.
Yeah,
I witnessed that firsthand in New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah. In the old days before I quit drinking again, listen, there was a lot of WrestleMania days like back in my youth that were. It didn't. It could have been 10 hours long. It wouldn't have mattered because our days were like 20 hours long. You know what I mean? And it was just partying with your friends all day. But you know what? Here's where I'm at. And Josh, I agree. I look forward to WrestleMania more than now. I don't want to necessarily say the Super Bowl, and I'm only saying that because this is never going to happen. But if and when the time came when the Raiders were in the Super Bowl, you bet your ass I'm waking up is at like 6 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm watching nothing but pregame the entire day. I did it back when they lost Super Bowl 37. I mean, it's just one of those things that you. So I don't want to necessarily say the Super Bowl just because, but then again, that's just placating to a favorite. That's, you know what I mean. That's right. So usually, yes, WrestleMania is the one day a year that I look forward to know that like this is the culmination of a year's worth of our favorite programming, stuff that we invest a lot of our time into. And I agree where the runtime doesn't matter as much to me because I get up, I move around, I cook food. I don't stay stationary. It's a little family thing. So, there's little things going on that way. There's always like my next door neighbor's actually having a WrestleMania party, and I think he's got his kids, I think, are my age. So or maybe not my age, maybe a little bit younger, but it's funny though, because I know for a fact his daughter, I think, is in like her late 20s, early 30s or something like that. And he's having a WrestleMania party. So it's, it is one of those big days that I think that when you're in a more of a social environment, you don't notice the runtime as much. Now, do I want it to go to like midnight Eastern time? Probably not. You know what I mean? But at the same time, because we're kind of trained now from that 8 o'clock spot on to think, all right, here's the real meat of the show. And then it does tend to get a little, or I'm just getting old, man. Like I said, when we went to Raw, I noticed by the end of the night, I was like, oh, I'm not built for this anymore. Like, or maybe I just used to run off of alcohol because like, I don't drink anymore. So it's like, maybe maybe before, like I was alcohol fueled and that's how I was getting through these long shows. But, yeah, man, I will admit the show, if you were there sitting, would probably be, but you're not forced to go in for the pre-show. I mean, you're not forced to, but they are going to dangle some carrots, I believe, to get you in for the pre-show. That's their job.
And you don't have to watch the entire WrestleMania if you don't want to.
Right.
I mean, if there's something on the kickoff show you want to catch up, you can watch it the next morning or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just like watching, I never change away from a Raider game because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I don't know. I guess
that's your thing.
That's my thing. Yeah, I like being miserable for 3.5 hours every Sunday. But listen, I won't. There's been games where I've been like, if I watch it with my dad, like I'll go down his place. There was a game this year we're getting beat bad. It was like 40 something, and my dad looked at me. He's like, "Do we really have to sit here and watch the rest of this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do. You do," and I do, and I watch until the clock hits 0, and it doesn't matter what the score is. Only because I've watched games where like we've ran like there was a game we beat Carolina years ago. It was like 52-3. I mean, of course, you're going to watch that game till the very end. You know what I mean? In our good years, you're always going to watch the game till the very end. You got to take the bad years too. So. Right.
I mean, this football season, we're waking up at the crack of dawn to watch Bears and Raiders in London.
It's at 9 a.m. Is it a 9 a.m. Eastern game?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, why are they doing this to us? Why would they do that to the city of Oakland, too? That's 6 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, how about that? The last season in Oakland, the NFL is making Oakland lose a home game.
They've been doing that every year, though. We played in England last year, Mexico City the year before. Do we maybe play in Mexico 2 straight years? A-Rod will be able to help out with this one. I think
they played the Patriots in Mexico, right?
Yeah, that was back in the year. That was when the year Carr's leg decided it wanted to go in 7 different directions.
Yeah,
because the infield dirt said, "Mr. Second Baseman, you're in the wrong sport." But and his body was going one way and his foot was absolutely going the other. But yeah, I don't know. They've been taking a home game away from us, so that's nothing new. But that early of a time, I feel like that's the NFL. Just they keep punishing Oakland over and over and over.
So, by the way, since it is Patrick's birthday, and shout out to him, happy birthday, man.
St. Patrick's Day, if you will, but I'm Ching.
He sent us a question on Twitter the other day, asking us, is it correct to assume that not all Becky, Kofi Kingston, and Seth Rollins will win their prospective title matches at WrestleMania this year? Me personally, we're going to get into this as we talk about Raw and SmackDown this week. Just in general, I want to let everybody know that WrestleMania is presented differently than Wrestle Kingdom. It just is. It's just something I've noticed from watching these two different shows over the last 5 years. It's just different. Randy Orton beat Seth Rollins the day Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, that particular WrestleMania. So the debates about underdogs getting their primal moment on the big stage at WrestleMania, I don't think it's going to be guaranteed for all 3 matches. Now, here's the thing, though. Are there a lot of excitement for all 3 matches? Absolutely. Can they go either way? Absolutely. Would there be a decision either way that would piss you off? I don't know. Would Charlotte winning the women's title at WrestleMania piss everybody off? Maybe. Would that be the wrong decision? No, because that's subjective. Now, going back to this, I think that what do we want out of KofiMania? I guess that's where I'm going with this question. What do we want out of KofiMania? Do you want him to win the title at WrestleMania, or do you just want him to have that match just to say, "Hey, Kofi did got a chance to compete for the WWE title at WrestleMania"?
I think it's there's to break it down into what you said in 2 parts. The first one is, will anybody be satisfied with any outcome? No. And it's simply, if it goes down that Seth Rollins wins and Becky Lynch wins and what's the other, and then Kofi goes and then Kofi wins. If those 3 athletes walk out as champion, the argument will be it was too predictable.
Right.
So I actually don't think that, and I don't think all 3 titles have to change hands.
I don't either.
At the same time, listen, it would be awesome if they did. I'm not against anything that they're going to do with any of these titles. I just think that don't be surprised if none of the titles change hands. I wouldn't be surprised if all the titles change hands. I think there's going to be more of a balance somewhere in there where I think there's at least one title that's not changing hands. So, but I think no matter which way you slice it, somebody's going to find a way to be upset and angry and disagreeable with the outcome, because you're right. I think people right now are grouping these 3 matches together for separate, different reasons. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's the Brock Lesnar issue, the Becky Lynch push that everybody wants, and then Kofi's is a much different argument in a way. Especially, with the video that Big E put out and where they're going with that too. So I can see how they're getting grouped together, although there's 3 separate entities. But yeah, nothing would surprise me. It's not. They're not supposed to always make us go home feeling happy.
What's the one thing that always comes out of WrestleMania? Moments. It's not always matches like a Okada Omega type of deal. You know what I mean? So look at this. Like I mentioned before, Randy Orton beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania the day Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. So my bigger point about this is that your favorites may not win at WrestleMania, and then that may not be a bad thing. A lot of I heard over the last couple weeks on some of these other shows is that, Nakamura and Styles disappointed at WrestleMania, and it was supposed to be Nakamura's chance. Nakamura lost his match at WrestleMania, and guess what? Nakamura turned heel after the match was over.
Right. Well, and I think that, like you said, that's why they always beat down WrestleMania moment into our head, right? WrestleMania moment into our head. But there's always, along with a moment, Josh, especially recently since the advent of the WWE Network, one thing that's always come out of WrestleMania has been controversy.
Right.
So I think that's where it goes hand in hand, because now they can really push not that they couldn't before, but it's at a different level now to where they could constantly keep pushing the buttons of the internet fan or the casual fan or the whomever, because the casual fan won't get upset about, say, if Brock Lesnar retains. A casual fan won't get as upset as the internet fan will.
Let's say that Randy Orton beats AJ Styles at WrestleMania this year, right? We'll say AJ Styles doesn't cost Kofi Kingston the WWE title.
Right. It could be something along those lines.
Think about it. They keep asking AJ Styles every time in the backstage interview about Kofi Kingston and the WWE title. Even after the fact that his feud with Daniel Bryan has been over for about a month and a half now. And, Vince McMahon keeps saying, where's the real AJ Styles?
There you
AJ Styles?
There you go. That was the tie-in that I was looking for. There you go.
There's always context that goes into these decisions. Just because the match doesn't go the way you thought it would, or you didn't get the result that you want, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That's why I always wait. When he goes to a commercial break and then nothing happens, then okay, vent. But there's always something that'll happen on a show. Maybe you won't expect it. Hey, what was everybody guessing for Fastlane? Oh, Miz is going to turn on Shane McMahon in his hometown. Shane McMahon turns on Miz.
Well, and let me ask you this question, Josh, because there was a time where WrestleMania absolutely was. You could feel that. Okay, one almost season ended, and then now we're starting a brand new season.
Correct.
With the exception of people making debuts and call-ups on, usually like the first Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, does Mania still have that the finality to it? Or do you feel like it is just their biggest pay-per-view in a series of continuations? You know what I mean? Like, this is their what's the best way to put this? Because it's hard to compare it to a sport in this fashion, because like it's almost like you tour all year and then you finally do the big festival show. And I know I keep comparing it, guys, but you do your big festival show and then you go back out and do, and I was using that for All In because at the time that's what All In was like, but now that'll be different with AEW and whom they can work with. And it's still going to kind of feel like a festival kind of feel, which is awesome. But that's what I get from WrestleMania. I get, and I don't see it as that point of finality anymore. I'm actually getting it more as it's absolutely the largest stage of where these characters are going forward. You know what I mean? You kind of get a feeling at WrestleMania, like Nakamura turning heel last year, where people are going to go after the fact.
Right. Vince always compared WrestleMania to the Oscars in a way. You have all these big time awards and like big title matches throughout the show. This is my opinion. I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like there's been more conclusions to feuds at SummerSlam as opposed to WrestleMania over the last couple years.
Over the last couple years, yes. It used to be reversed. Like the big heel turns would happen at SummerSlam. The big face turns would happen at SummerSlam. Like one of those brilliant SummerSlams was Triple H's double turn in 1 year. I think that was 98, somewhere around there, 98, 99, something like that. I think 98 maybe. I don't know. But stuff you used to get that a lot at SummerSlam. It did seem like that was more the wrestling, the wrestling bubble show. Not saying that WrestleMania still isn't the more corporate show. It absolutely is, and that's why I'm saying don't necessarily think that the three underdogs are coming out with championships. On the flip side of it, though, I still see WrestleMania as the biggest event of the year. It's still something special to me. That day is always special. You know what I mean? It's always going to be special. But I do see it more now as a continuation versus hitting reset in a way. Not that that's a bad thing. I don't want anybody to think that's criticisms at all, because it's not me being critical. It's just a different business model now that is probably better for all of us, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just an idea I'm throwing out there, guys. Like, there's more than meets the eye when it comes to a lot of these shows, obviously. And like I said before, not every decision or result has to be off your favorite. Because let's say your favorite won, and then they did that moment the same show. Would you have the same feeling? Like, I don't know. Like, there's reasons behind things that do happen in shows, whether you guys believe it or not, or you're the wrestling fan that thinks that WWE doesn't know what they're doing, even though it's their own company. So I don't know how that analogy came up.
There is a lot that goes into this: long-term planning, marketing, merchandise. I mean, and not saying that they, couldn't. I mean,
it's the WWE; it's their own company. You don't think they don't know what they're doing with their own creative liberty?
Right. I mean,
it's their narrative. It's not anybody else's.
It's their story to tell, and I think that's why we all have our own favorite WrestleMania, because typically it's the one that you personally, as a fan, not because it was the best, but because you got the most enjoyment out of that particular one. You know what I mean? Like, I think that when you look at a lot of WrestleManias and you go back, some don't age well. Let's face it. Like, WrestleMania 9 did not age very well at all.
Nope.
I think that's very fair to say. It was some when you go back and watch
WrestleMania 15.
Yeah, right. Some when you go back and watch them again, it's like, wow, this, this was better than I thought the first time around, or whatever, than it was in the moment. So, I just think a lot of times, because we are in such an instant gratification, everything's moving at hypersonic speed all the time. They just had to kind of change, they tweaked it. They didn't, nobody reinvents the wheel. Sometimes you just point in a different direction. That's all. I think they've been better about that.
How great was the Kevin Owens show this week?
Oh, it was fantastic.
That guy's a trip, man. I love him.
He came out with a blazer, didn't he? He had a blazer
yeah.
on. Yeah. I appreciate any man with a blazer and a T-shirt on, because that's
business
for me.
I remember Punk, they had that angle where everybody walked out on Triple H, and CM Punk came out. He's like, hey, can I wear your blazer? Because he was doing commentary for the one match they were doing.
It was huge on him, too.
Yeah, it was. Triple H got them big shoulders, man.
Big boy.
Big boy. By the way, folks, if you saw a hoodie and this semi-bald head on Raw this past Monday, you may have saw me on television this week. I was at the Rosemont Horizon. You could call it the Allstate Arena if you want. I live in the city of Chicago, so I can call it the fuck I want to. By the way, it was pretty cool. They announced that they're having Survivor Series weekend in Chicago, starting off on Friday, because coming up this fall, they're airing SmackDown live on Fridays on Fox. So it's going to be a big Fox TV taping show in Chicago.
So it's back to Fridays? It's moving back to Fridays again?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But ew.
Saturday, we're going to have the first War Games match in Chicago history, so it's pretty cool. They're bringing NXT TakeOver War Games here, and then we're having Survivor Series, obviously, that weekend. I'm surprised they announced that. No, I'm not surprised they announced, because they announced it a couple months ago, but I'm surprised they already announced the ticket information this early. I thought they would do it like before SummerSlam or something, but it was a nice little surprise. I'll definitely be there for SmackDown and War Games and Survivor Series. I don't know about Raw, but definitely gonna make it for Survivor Series weekend. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So I was sitting on the right hand side of the stage in the entranceway. It's always cool to see like the production team set up the different sets for the different segments they're gonna do for the show. You can see certain tables and this and that, and it'll stooge you off of what's coming next. So, like, they used to do that with the highlight reel or the peep show or any talk show like that. When I saw little stools and tables, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Here comes Alexa Bliss. And I was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to be like 5 feet away from God's greatest creation. I know Mandy Rose calls herself God's greatest creation, but hey, Alexa Bliss calls herself the goddess of WWE. So she has just as much right.
Corey Graves calls Mandy Rose God's greatest creation, but that's neither here nor there.
Say that again.
So I think Corey Graves calls Mandy Rose God's greatest creation, but that's neither here nor there.
She didn't call herself that.
I don't think so. I think that started as a Graves commentary joke, right? And it just they kept running with it.
Hey, Graves is
maybe,
the man.
I don't know.
Graves is the man.
I give Graves credit.
If it was him, I would give him all credit. I want to give shots to Graves. He's like, when Braun Strowman was drawing Leo Rush around the ring, he is like, man, he was making throws that make Mitch Trubisky blush.
He's always real good with being very like city specific and stuff like that. Graves is always on his game.
And here's the thing. I'm trying to remember what match it was. I think it was Jinder Mahal and Ricochet. No, it was Baron Corbin, my bad. It was Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. And he's like, these damn Windy City mouth breeders cost Baron Corbin the match. I was like, come on, man.
I mean, well.
He's giving us props, pumping up our quarterback early in the show that he's going to call us mouth breeders. I wasn't mad. I didn't take it seriously. I just thought it was funny.
That's because he's good. It's because he's good at what he does. In that spot, you got to talk out of both sides of your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Corey Graves is the man. I don't care what anybody says.
Speaking of, we're going to transition over. We're going to transition into the daily stop segment of this segment. We're going to bring the 9-year-old voice in. This is where we go TV PG for a second, and we're going to get the wrestling week out of a 9-year-old's eyes. So AJ, what did you think of? You didn't get to see all of SmackDown, but what did you think of Raw this week? What you got to see of SmackDown? Talk to us. What did you like this week?
Well, I do want to start with Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious that the conga line came out with heavy machinery leading it.
You really like that now a lot.
With Otis leading it, it was the funniest thing.
Josh, was Otis ZZ on Tough Enough?
I think he was.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is that AJ decided she was going to start watching Tough Enough from that year because Sonya's on there, Mandy's on there, stuff like that, and
I didn't know.
Well, it was funny because I just kind of like walked past because I remember Sam and I just didn't watch that season for whatever reason. And I was like, holy cow, I think that's Otis. And then it all made sense. So, guys, if you want an inspirational story of how to keep at it, there's a guy that the fans wanted. They said he wasn't the right type. He found his niche, and now it's working. And even a 9-year-old's getting a kick out of it, right? And right. That's their audience. But, okay, so you like the conga line.
I also like that Elias will be the performer, whether that's true or not. I like that.
Nice.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be the performer, so that should be good.
Yes, that's definitely going to be good if he's the performer. He's going to get interrupted so many times.
Do you think maybe every time he tries to perform, that's when they have like a surprise guest come out, like maybe a Rock make an appearance or a legend or somebody like that, a Hogan or like
or maybe Alexa Bliss interrupts him one time.
You want Alexa Bliss to interrupt him one time? Okay.
Because she's the host.
She is the host, so she could interrupt him. Yep. She seemed very excited, though, to have Elias as
Yes, but Alexa Bliss, she turns very easily. She changes the story very easily.
Very astute of you. Good point. Good point. She could turn the tables on him very quickly because as the host, it would be what's best for business, I guess, right?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
I mean, you're having the host of WrestleMania being a WWE performer, and then you're also having the singing performer also be a WWE performer. Maybe we just need a non-singing WWE performer.
How about this then? How do you feel about how they're tying in Colin Jost and Michael Che because you like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. And
how do you feel how they're being incorporated now with Braun Strowman? Are you looking forward to see what they do, or do you think it's going to be cheesy? Are you excited? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I kind of like it.
You do like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like how they sent Braun Strowman a car.
Yeah,
that he couldn't even fit into.
Not at all.
Not at all. He probably couldn't even try it out.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so you do dig it, thanks. I don't know, yes. Josh. What's the temperature on the internet right now about that? Hate it?
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't hate it personally. I think it's funny. I love you were talking about it last week. The little Twitter bio he has being Braun Strowman's mentor.
Yeah. Justin and Shay have both been playing into it. And listen, here's the deal. And I don't want to let people are going to hate me for this one. So here's where I make my enemies. But the people that really aren't down with this typically are more conservative, right leaning, individuals. Right. And that's fine. I get it, because they look at Justin Che as liberal comedians, when if you listen to Michael Che, he's equal opportunity, opportunist there, my man is. So
an equal opportunity ripper.
Oh man, but I think that's where a lot of the animosity comes from, because come on, what do you guys want, Snooki back again? You know what I mean? Like, at least we're getting some entertainment value and some synergy within some NBC Universal companies.
As much of a bad boy Mark I'm kind of glad that they're not bringing out Diddy to perform again at WrestleMania this year.
I've seen too much Diddy at places. Yeah, I've seen too much Diddy in different WrestleManias. Yeah. more than I'd like to admit. All right, but AJ, okay, so we liked Elias, we liked Alexa Bliss. What else did you dig?
I liked the Ronda Rousey and Dana Brooke match.
Yeah, you actually did like that.
Yes,
you did like that. Now, and you like Dana Brooke, and people are kind of getting angry with the whole there was a lot of people that didn't like that Ronda Rousey got taken out by her husband because it's a women's match, and men shouldn't be involved in the women's division.
That's laughable.
That's laughable, says a 9-year-old.
Very laughable.
Did you think? I mean, or do you like how they have her going at referees now, and yes. quote unquote security, and did you like how they brought her husband in?
Yes, I did like that. I liked how. I did like how her husband had to pull her out to just she went and hit all the referees. I found that real funny.
Now, as a 9-year-old little feminist yourself, which is incredible, because you were absolutely a feminist at age 9. There's a lot of people on the I'm just going to say on the internet, because now adults are just trivial and dumb with stuff like this. Yes. They're saying that is holding women back, because that's saying that, oh, look, her husband had to carry her out, and that kind of thing. Is that people being too nitpicky, or do you think that's something that did you think, well, she could have just left herself, or could have beat some more people up first, or?
Well, what would people say if it was the woman taking out the man? What would they say then? The exact same thing? Who cares?
Good point. That's a very good point. They would either complain that, he had to be held back by his wife, or B, what's a woman doing? And you're right. They would, the same people.
What's a woman doing trying to hold a man back?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. No matter what. And 9 years old, ladies and gentlemen, she's already figured the internet's, debate system out. There you go.
I want to add on to that, AJ, because it didn't matter. She was still beating up the male security team with no problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Nia Jax in the Royal Rumble got like 3 finishers on her, so who cares?
That was awesome.
Right. And now, do you think Nia taking 3 finishers, was it overkill, or do you think that showed the strength of her character?
I really liked it, because I thought it was cool that, like, obviously she was entering a men's rumble, first of all. And 2, I like that they actually had a man do something to a woman for once, like hit a woman for once.
Not hit a woman, obviously. It was a move. It wasn't like a punch.
It was a finisher, though. 619. RKO.
Everybody can get RKO, though, I guess, right?
The 619, though, it's hitting her in the face with some feet.
You were really excited that they finally had, because you're big on intergender wrestling.
Yes.
You're huge on that. So you actually like that. How do you, what would you say, because you're 9 and people would say, well, that's not good to see, because then you think that that's normalcy. You would think that would be good for a man to hit a woman, or,
Well, it's scripted, first of all, and it's entertainment. So you can't say that, because then that's also kind of saying that I think that a woman hitting a woman is normalcy, and a man hitting a man is normalcy.
I think it's just like comic books where you see superheroes, hit each other and stuff like that, because we're supposed to look at these athletes as superheroes, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same as Wonder Woman getting beat up by an evil Superman or an evil Wonder Woman beating up a Superman, right? I don't know. Looking at it either way that way. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, as we always do, from the mouth of a 9-year-old. Anything else you want to say?
Bye-bye, and always skip to the end.
Bye-bye and always skip to the end. There you go. There you go. Look at you already self-promoting. Jeez. You got a tagline and a catchprise? Get out of here, kids. Scram. So we can get back to TV 14.
Who cares about that?
You'd be surprised. All right, Josh.
Bye-bye. Oh, God. I want to get this off my chest really quick. The whole stuff with Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, the whole backlash towards that, because that was probably the biggest vitriol thing that happened on the show on Monday from what I saw after the fact when I got home from the show. A lot of people are not happy about Baron Corbin being the last opponent for Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. Even I had cool thoughts of him fighting John Cena at WrestleMania because they're in Chicago. That's where they first interacted with each other when John Cena made his debut. But also, social media does help out in some ways because I got a notification. They do those flashback posts that you have sometimes on different social media apps. And they're like, oh, here's the post you had for the last time you went to a WWE show in Chicago. And it was a picture of Kurt Angle dressed up as El Conquistador eliminating Baron Corbin in a battle royal. And I found it ironic that Kurt Angle chose Baron Corbin to fight him at WrestleMania in Chicago again. Going back to what we mentioned earlier, context. There's always reasons why certain things happen in certain cities, folks.
I think this year, too, and just like the Kofi example, I think they're really stringing some of these feuds along till the very end because they know they can. And, because again, every year we hear the complaints. We know the match card too early, then it drags on the rest of the time.
Right.
Exactly. So I don't know if he's necessarily, if that's going to be the match. Yeah. You know what I mean? Who knows if that really ends up being just a one-on-one match? There could be a 2-on-2 type of match. It could be whatever the case may be. If it stays Corbin and Angle, I'm absolutely okay with that too. Was I a little underwhelmed? I don't know if that's for me to say because I think this is how you can really make Baron Corbin into a superstar. So I don't know.
Here's my thing. Like you're saying, we already know all the matches and then it's taking too long. This year is that we don't have all the answers and all the feuds are over complicated. Can't win.
Right. And you know what? This year I decided the past Mania to Mania, I haven't been I've been letting them tell their story instead of, and that's why I never get too far ahead on here. And I stay away from the internet. I let WWE or whomever I'm watching, AEW with all the being the elite and the Road to Double or Nothing, stuff like that. New Japan, Progress, whoever I'm tapping into, I let them tell the story. Let them narrate what they, the escape.
Before we head out for this week, I want to get your thoughts on the Batista interview he did with Michael Cole. I'm pretty sure we'll hear for Triple H next week. Raw's in Boston this week. By the way, I'm adding Boston to the city of cities are just absolute filled with garbage people. That's just my opinion. But anyways, what did you think about the Batista interview with Triple H?
I like that Batista it looked like. What's that?
Well, I meant Batista interview with Michael Cole. My bad.
Well, yeah, I thought it was fun that it looked like he was on a throne in front of a high school gym's wall. That was that was a nice touch. No, it was all right. I liked it. Big Dave's been giving great interviews, and I thought that was a great. He's coming back to do his job, and he's doing a really good job for it. So if this is his swan song, he's killing it.
I got the card for WrestleMania right here. I'm going to run over this really quick. Shout out to Tony Nese. Him and Cedric Alexander had a badass match on 205 Live this week. Tony Nese will be fighting Buddy Murphy, his training partner and pal that they had on 205 Live over the last couple months. They're fighting each other at WrestleMania this year in Tony Nese's hometown, not hometown, but home area of New York, New Jersey area. We're also going to have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There's a 4-way match with Naomi, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and Carmella. The winner will face Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. So that match will happen on SmackDown this week. Samoa Joe against Rey Mysterio. Man, Dominic got tall, man. I think he's as tall as I am right now. Holy
I skipped so many Dominic father jokes just for sake of time. We didn't have the time and we didn't, but I wanted to dip into that so bad. But for another
time. By the way, Mrs. Promo at the beginning of the show this week was really good.
Incredible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I hang off every word. I watched it twice. Hanging off every word.
Make sure you check out the intro this week because I'm going to re-air what Drew McIntyre said on Raw this Monday. Probably his best promo of his career so far. AJ Styles against Randy Orton. Kurt Angle against Baron Corbin. Obviously, Angle's retirement match. Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match. Shane McMahon against The Miz. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, a triple threat match. Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre. And Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And we don't even know who Daniel Bryan's opponent is going to be yet. And I'm not in a rush to find out who. I think that's the interesting part about it. Who? Who's it going to be? Who will Daniel Bryan face at WrestleMania this year?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the fun of it, right?
Right.
It's supposed to be the fun of it, but we'll see.
I have to say this from what happened on Monday. I don't know if it's E or WWE, but I saw like 6 different Total Bell commercials for their season finale this Sunday. It's either E or WWE wants us to know that Nikki Bella is dating this dude from Dancing with the Stars. I don't care, bro. You don't have to show me 6 Total Bell commercials. Holy shit.
There was a lot of Becky Lynch Head and Shoulders commercials too.
I saw that.
Awesome commercial. But yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, I like it. She got that shampoo money now, like she put on Instagram, I think.
She's a trip. Probably my favorite part of Raw what happened after the show went off air. Dean Ambrose came out and beat up Baron Corbin with Seth Rollins. Got to do the Shield fist pump with Dean Ambrose as he was walking to the backstage area. It was pretty cool to get just to have that type of moment. Depending whatever happens with him, whether he stays or he goes, I thought it was pretty cool. I got a chance to do that. If that was his last WWE appearance in Chicago, I just wanted to say thank you, Ambrose, because he had some pretty cool moments in that building. So thank you, Dean. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't there, so but yeah, I was in Pittsburgh, so yeah, obviously. But I'm not buying into the whole. Listen, if he goes to AEW, it's a good thing for him. It's a good thing for wrestling. It's a good, if he stays, it's a good thing for wrestling. That's why I'm not. It is funny fans are doing the like, oh no, Dean, please, we're still gonna get this. He's gonna wrestle. He's not like it's not. He's not. He didn't have to retire.
He could be just taking time off.
Everybody deserves it,
right? Coming up 2 weeks, we got 2 more weeks left for WrestleMania, so we'll talk about all the goings on there. I'll keep you guys updated what's going on with the G1 Supercard and all that fun stuff on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. I'll try to map up a schedule with Brother Carter because he said he wants to come on with us for our WrestleMania preview show, but he said he has to record the shows at night because he works during the day. So it's something I'll try to figure it out. If it's something where Brett Carter can't come on with us on the day we record the show, I'll do it separately with him and we'll put it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Hoots Podcast. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. Adam, any final words before we head off this week?
Not really, because I'm getting off here real quick, but last thing I wanted to say is final 3 episodes of Gotham start tonight. Looking forward to those 3. Didn't get a chance to go check out Captain Marvel. It was actually a really, really good movie.
I gotta see that.
There was a Stan Lee moment that I'm not gonna lie, I teared up, and it's not at the beginning like everybody thought. There's a Stan Lee cameo where he's preparing for my favorite role that he ever had, and my favorite line of what's like my favorite movie, and it did bring a slight tear to my eye for a minute, and I had to choke back some tears, but it was an amazing movie. If you get a chance, go check it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. Make sure to follow Adam on Twitter Adam13 on my Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots.
I'm not on Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter. Don't follow me anywhere.
Instagram.
You could, Instagram, but don't follow it. I hate that term follow. We'll be friends on Instagram. How about that?
Yeah. Be a good brother. Be a good sister on IG. All right. We'll use it in the wrestling context. All right. So, like I said, you can follow me Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Let us know what you think about the show. Shout out to our good brothers that ran with that. Make sure to check out the podcast, like it, subscribe, tell a friend about the show. And we're excited. Tomorrow I'm going to be giving you guys a flashback episode. It's going to be our first episode that we did together from April 2016, just as we prepare for our 150th episode. And thank you guys for all the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And we'll talk to you next week right here on the Hoots Podcast. Peace.